Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So my desk looks a little different today. I'm actually in my wet area or mixed media room. I had mentioned in previous videos that I've been working to tidy up my area and do a bit of organising in here so that I could start videoing in here, and I'm happy to say I have it at a place where I'm actually comfortable to be in here and start videoing. So on my desk I have my altered tile. I did share a video, gosh, quite some time ago, where I showed you what I did with a couple of tiles that I like to use in my craft room, kind of as a what would you call it, a palette, or I've used them as a palette, I've used them as kind of a temporary or alternative to a glass mat. So I set that on my desk partly because I wanted to use it, but then I decided to use the gel plate. I've got a few things in my mind of things that I want to try. I'm not sure how much I'll do today, and I'm not sure how much I'll do on camera, but I really wanted to start this video much earlier today, and it's taking me, every time I thought I was ready to go, I had more ideas. So I've actually got a collection of resources around me. Whoops, I think I bumped the camera, I'm sorry. A collection of resources around me, and I'm really not sure how far I can take it in one video, but this was an idea that came about by all of the little pieces of scrap paper that we get. So I've got a tray here to my left. I'll just bring it into camera, and it's got lots of different papers, scrap papers mostly. You get the printouts when you do a test print on your printer. It's got those sorts of papers. It's got some bodgy prints, things that started printing that either jammed or didn't print properly, and all of these itty bitty scraps of paper and matte photo paper that we end up from Fussy cuttings. So I had mentioned in a previous video that I wanted to have a play with using those. So I'm thinking I'd like to start with my gel plate. Kind of wasn't where I planned on going to start with first, but you just never know, do you? So I had a little play just recently dyeing some fabrics, and I had a lot of fun with that. And sorry, I'm just pulling my card closer. I used some paints that were actually given to me from a friend who no longer needed them, and I just pulled out, I've got my tray here with all of those paints on them. I don't really know what colours I want to use, but I've got all sorts of colours to play with. I had also mentioned when I played with these and I shared my fabrics on a video that some of these are gouache and some are actual matte acrylic. So I'm using a combination of both. I'm not really worried about whether they're the same type of paint or not. Just looking for a couple of colours that really speak to me, which could end up being all of them. Okay, so there's a lot of colour speaking to me at the minute. I'm not really sure whether these paints are even any good. I have my new brayers here, so I shared those in a previous video as well. And I also have the large one. I got 4 new brayers, so I'm thinking I will go with this 10 centimetre brayer. I really don't know, but I'm making it up. I'm just playing. Just decided I want to pop in here and have a little play with these scraps. I've had a few ideas of how I want to use them, but I can't use them until I've had a play with them. So thinking I might start with a darker colour. So I have this teal green, and I've just realised I have 2. So one is actually a gouache and one is an acrylic. So this is the one I picked up. So this is the one I'm going to use. Okay. So I haven't used this gel plate for quite some time. As you can probably tell, it's a store-bought, it's not a store-bought paint plate. It's one that I've made. I'm going to need a lot more paint on there to start with, just to wet my plate. Okay, I think I want that to dry a little bit. I like the way it's very patchy at the moment. Kind of reminds me of peeled paint a little bit without me even trying. So I'm going to see if I can work with that. And I might add a little white, hoping my white's okay. Yes, it's looking good. And I have this skin tone, oops, plenty skin tone paint, which I really, really love. So just working that over the plate, try and get an even coat. And I've got some scraps here of matte photo paper. And I'm just going to lay those down. I've never tried to print or colour matte photo paper before, but I have all of these scraps and I get more and more and more, so I've decided that it's time to start using them. And I might sit that one maybe a slightly longer piece. Oops, I want the right way around. And just get a full piece of paper. Just want to press that down as best I can. Oh, that is fun. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, I'm onto something here. I'm loving the way these are coming up. I'm going to call that one done. I love that. If there's any white, I might pop some tea stain over the top just to, whoops. I've got a box here. I might just sit them in the box when I think they're done. So I might just pop some tea stain over the top of the parts that haven't coloured. So the parts that are still plain. But I love the way they have turned out. I really wasn't sure when I first put that paint on there. Oh, that's pretty. I love that. Okay. Oh, this is fun. What a great way to use up your scraps. Okay, I really love that too. The matte photo paper seems to be taking the paint really, really well, which I wasn't sure it would. I'm going to take that, see if I can just add a little something to that edge there. Oh, just like that. I love that. So I'm calling that done. Gosh, just one take. Oh, I might overprint that, I think. So I'm going to add, what do I want? A lighter brown maybe. So I've got provincial beige. And I'm going to spread that out as best I can. Now, when I put that first lot down, it seemed to get to a point where it was starting to dry and it was starting to stick to my roller, which it's starting to do now, which is actually giving me texture. I love that. Okay, so again, I'm going to add a little of this skin, a little as it like comes out really, really quickly. And a bit more of the white. Well, no, that's black. I don't want black. Where did the white go? Here we go. So the white is a different brand, I should mention. It's a Global Colours. I think I purchased a couple of these. They were selling them cheap. I don't remember where or how long ago it was. It would have been a while ago now. I'm not sure if it was Bargain Buys or Spotlight or somewhere like that. They tend to be my go-tos for that sort of thing. Okay, I've got some places that haven't taken so well. I'm okay with that because, like I said, I plan on tea dyeing these afterwards. So just pulling out some strips. And I'm going to have some fun with those. I have also strips here. And I'm thinking, pop that down there. Okay, and again, my piece of paper over the top. I'm just using scrap paper. And I'm getting some texture on this page. And I think I might start at this end. Oh, so pretty. One take, I'm calling it done. Just like that. A little bit of tea or coffee staining, and I think that's good to go. Same with that one. I actually really love that negative spot there. It's almost like an air bubble. You can see my gel plate, because it's homemade, it's not perfect. It's got little bumps and air pockets and all sorts of things. I actually love the texture of that. And I will tell you, I haven't actually tried a store-bought gel plate, so I don't know what the difference between the two is. But this is what I'm used to using. It's all I've ever used. So things like the lines, I actually used something on my gel plate at one stage to try and add texture, and I ended up making marks in my gel plate. And I did consider remelting it and resetting it, but then I was like, I actually love the texture that it gives, and it's a DIY, so it doesn't matter, or it doesn't matter to me. Okay, loving these. What a fun way to use up those little strips of paper that potentially would go in the bin. I will say I don't ever throw my scrap papers away. I actually recycle them, so I'm loving that. I'm going to add some more to that yet, so I'm going to set that one aside. I usually pop them in, I've got a big recycle bag, and a lot of these end up in my recycle bag, and I make homemade paper out of them. But I was fussy cutting just recently and I was like, I'd love to be able to use these. They just need some colour, so that's what I'm aiming for. Okay, what colour do I want to play with next? I'm thinking this moss green could be a fun addition. And now I've got these lines here, which is going to be really, really fun. Like I said, I don't know what state these paints are in, so it's not as bad. I thought maybe this was a bit dry, but it's actually usable. It's a little bit on the thicker side, but I'm getting texture on here, which I'm loving. Okay, so I've got provincial beige, cannot speak. Oh, this feels like there's a bit of a lump in the bottom of it, so I don't know that this one is any good. It's very lumpy and bumpy, but I'm going to set that aside because it's still liquidy, like it's still squeezing out. I may be able to use that for my other form of, whoops, and that one's like over the top liquidy. I may be able to use that for my other form of paper staining, similarly to the way I did the fabric. So I will keep that aside and see if I can utilize it that way. So I do have a lump in the paint there. It may actually, it's still very liquidy, so it may, sorry, I've just got a wet cloth to my left, just drying my finger. Okay, so what scraps do I have? I have okay, we'll see what we get here. Well, that's turning out quite fun. Where did we start? We started here. Okay, let's pull this one up. Oh, loving that. I'm wondering if I can get that very edge with a little bit of colour. Not a whole lot there. I'm actually loving the way the photo paper is, it's really sticking to the paint in a way that I haven't really had with normal paper before. I do have a little bit of a lump where that older paint was put down. I think I'm going to call that done. I think by the time I add a bit of tea stain or coffee stain over the top, Oh, I'm loving these. Sorry, I'm trying to pick it up without actually putting my nail into the gel plate. Didn't get quite as much colour on that one as I would like. I think that will be really pretty once I add a little bit of tea or coffee. Some of the spots that look white are actually the white paint too, so fun. Ah, that's awesome. That worked well. Okay. That's where I said it. They really seem to, the matte photo paper really seems to stick to the paint. So where can I, oh, that's done it. Okay. These are curling slightly. I'm not going to worry too much about that at this stage. I'm steering towards this crimson. I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to be like super bright, but it does look really bright. I thought I had a red here. No, I have the crimson and a rose pink. So I think I might use the two of those together and just see what I end up with, completely different to the colours I've been using. But like I said, I've had these for some time and I haven't used them, and I really just want to see what the colours are like. That's a bit watery, that one. Not really sure that that's going to work very well. Don't know whether you can shake these. We'll spread that out and see what we end up with. So the pink is a little bit thick. It's kind of lumping on the gel plate. We've lost the crimson into the pink, I think. Okay, so that's starting to dry. So I'm adding some white over the top. I might do one there as well. I really love this roller. I wasn't sure what they'd be like, but it's really good to use. Okay, so it's starting to stick to my roller, which means it's time for me to stop. Okay, I'm going to take up with a larger piece and just looking for some slightly smaller pieces. Now, these pieces here, you can still see the image on the outside, so I decided I would colour the back of those and use them in reverse. That one's a bit wide. There's a smaller piece of card or photo paper. Just looking for a small piece. I think I'll go that way. Okay. I have no idea how this is going to come out. Don't know about my colour combination, especially when I had paint down from the last pull. Oh, it's pretty. Okay. Okay, I love that, and I'm going to call that done. I'm thinking maybe a little tea stain, but maybe even a little bit of white over the top of that just to tone it down, and I think I will really love that. Okay, super fun. Just wondering if I can pick up a little colour where the negative space is. You can still kind of see the circles, but they're a little bit blended, which I like. Love that. Oh, that's fun. Okay. And loving that. So, sorry, I had to stand up to reach where I'm putting my prints. I sort of was putting them all on top of each other, and I needed to put them separate so that the colours don't blend. So I'm just adding some white over the top of this to see if I can get a second pull. Okay. Funny thing with this photo paper is it's sometimes really hard to tell whether or not it's the front or the back of the paper. So these are pieces of paper, you know when you get the prints of paper that it spits out a second sheet and the second sheet really doesn't have anything on it. So this is one of those, and it had printing at the top and the bottom, so I've just simply torn those off and I'm using those. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I love that. I really love that too. Much more subtle. I'll show you the difference. So that is our first pull and our second. You can see how much lighter it is. And also the difference between, I don't know if you can see, but there is a difference between the matte photo paper and the paper. It's only very subtle, but I do find it a little bit more vibrant on the matte photo paper. Okay. Just going to see if... It's funny how that one little spot just makes me feel like it's finished. Okay, I still have quite a bit of paint on there, so maybe I don't want to do this whole page because I like the way that end is. Just thinking if I put that over the top. So we're building our colours on our plate. Isn't that fun? I love the lines that using the strips of paper is creating. I'm going to call that done. I think if I add, no, I think I'd like a little bit more down the bottom there. Okay, now I'm getting tacky. So I'm really playing with colour now because I'm going for orange. And those who've been following for a while know it's not my go-to colour. In actual fact, I usually walk away from orange. Again, I have no idea what condition any of these paints are in, so okay, so I'm thinking strips of paper. I might go across this time. Here we go, this is the orange. Wow. Would you look at that? That is fun, all kinds of fun. Okay, we should go from here. Okay, I feel like I need to tone these down. I am wondering though, whether to leave it and just tone them down with some, I might leave them like that. Oh my gosh, you should see the array of colours in my box where I've got them drying. So you can see I have some scratching and things in my plate which is coming off onto the gel print. I love that. They're all piling on top of each other now, so I may have a crossover of colours from one to the other, but that's okay. I did think I had more colour left on my gel plate than I do. It's only seemed to be, I only seem to be pulling the orange at this stage. So maybe that's what they're lacking. Maybe I need, but I do love the scratches. I'm having to work around my camera, so just excuse me if I seem really awkward. I kind of am being awkward because I'm in a completely different setup to what I'm used to using these days. Of course, for those who are new, this is the room I used to do all my crafting in when I first started my YouTube channel. I love that. But I haven't been crafting in here for over 12 months or around the 12 months. Okay. I'm going to set those aside to dry just a tad while I prepare my plate. And I'm going to pull from over here, I think. Oh, that's yummy. Very yummy. Okay, so what do I want to tone it down with? I'm thinking a little bit of that. I've got some darker green coming through, so I'm thinking a little bit of the teal green and some white perhaps, just to tone. And I may do a pull off this before. I'm just looking at those lines, although they could be fun texture on that, on the strips. Okay, so it's sticking to my brayer, which means the paint is dry. So I'm going to add some white over the top. Okay, and so taking these, love that. I'm thinking I need a little more white. Maybe I can go back in with some white. That's better, just a softer touch. That's really pretty, look at that. So I haven't even pushed that into the paint. All I've done is make sure that it's touching. Fun. So this is a piece I have some really good texture on. Okay. One pull just completely changes the look. Oh, that's pretty. That has that little bit more white on there. I might pop a little more white down now. And maybe even thinking just a fraction of this skin tone. Whoops. I was trying to remind myself that it was coming out really, really quickly, but it didn't seem to make a difference. So I'm just going to spread that around with my brayer. It's very warm here today too, so I did have the fan on before I started, but it was so loud I decided to turn it back off again. So I'm kind of quietly cooking. Okay, so I have this strip here, and I'm just, it's literally just touching. Okay, so toning that down. Okay, so I think I may do a couple of pulls of this. I'm not necessarily loving the way they're coming out, so I think I might do just a piece of my scrap paper. Now see, that's actually really, really pretty. Okay, I'm going to sit that there. Oh, isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay, calling that done. I love that too. Those streaks, those lines of orange through there are really fun. Quite unexpected. Okay, so I'm thinking I might do another pull of that strip. See what I can pull off there. Well, that's really fun. I kind of love the square and rectangle in there. So I'm thinking I might see if I can get a little bit of colour on that edge, and then I might call that one done, I think. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to go in with, no, I was going to do the white and do a pull of that, but I don't think I will. I might try, I'm like, decisions. I'm going to go with some raw sienna. Just thinking about the colours that I've got on here already. So I've got the greens and the orange. So this paint is a little bit watery. I'm hoping it will be okay. I just realised how clean my fingers are right now. Not. Okay, so it's getting a little bit patchy and it's pulling off onto my roller. I probably need to move my paints and try and brayer off some of the build-up on my roller. I haven't been doing that, so it's very well painted. Well, that's just looking all kinds of yummy right now. I have no idea if that will be how it looks when it's pulled, but okay, what do I have? Oh, all kinds of scraps. Okay. So I might go over the top of this one, I think. That's kind of fun. It kind of ties in the green with those colours. Pretty. Okay. I'm loving these. That's really lovely. Love those little specks of brown on that one from the slightly dried up paint. So fun. Yes. Okay, so I need a bit there and a bit there. Fabulous. Love that. Didn't get a whole lot from there. If I think about it, I don't think my paper was over there when I added pressure. Makes a big difference. Okay, love that. Now, I'm kind of feeling like I might add, do I want white or, no, I think I want the white. Okay. Doing a page pull. You can see the circles, they're kind of caused from little air bubbles that have been caused in my gel plate. They weren't there when I first made the gel plate, they kind of appeared after, not really sure why. So I just kind of work with them. Oh, I love that. Gosh, that is gorgeous. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe I have this brighter pink here. I'm wondering if I can tone that down just a fraction with what's left. Oops. Well, that's all kinds of fun. I was worried it would be too much, but I actually really love that. So I have one of the smaller cards here. I feel like that one turned a little more muddy, but I still like it. It'll be interesting to see what it's like when it dries. And so I have one more. I actually still really love that. But I would like to tie it in just a little bit. Crusty bits off the plate, which I usually love, but that was a little bit too crusty. Okay, that kind of works with the others now. And that's really toned those pinks down so that they're working with the lighter pinks and the greens and the browns. Really beautiful. Okay. What do I want to do now? This is fun. I could go for days and days. I have the burnt umber. I feel like I need to play with that on the top as a top coat. So I'm going to go with the skin tone first. I need to just brayer that's off my brayer. Isn't that fun? Okay, so oops, that's right, I was doing this. Now see, I'm getting that peeled paint look, which I really love. Okay, I'm going to go with a bit of white over that. I don't want too much. Okay, and then I'm going to go over that with, whoops, the raw umber, which is a much deeper colour. Making sure that lid is on properly. Okay. So it's still lifting, so they're all quite dry paint, so I'm going to go back over with some white. Got a kind of coffee color about it. Maybe it's just making me think I need to have a coffee break. So I have this little journaling card here. I've just noticed I've got a little paint skin. Okay, I have this bigger piece here which I might use. And what else? This is a little scrap of paper. Okay, and paper. So fun. Okay, so that's the way it's turned out. I've got this blank spot because it was over this piece here, so I'm just going to see if I can get some extra colour on there. Oh, that's fabulous. Love that. Okay. Too fun. Love, love, love. I want some colour on this side. Well, that did it. A bit more up there, I'm thinking. Yes, love that. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm going to just pop, what colour? Maybe this moss green down and do maybe the moss green and a little white. That's what I'm thinking. And see if I can just do a pull off my plate. I'm going to leave it there. I could go for days. I may pop out here and do some more a little later. I still have lots and lots of papers to play with, and I don't want to bore you too much with what I'm doing, but oops, that green is definitely on its way out. So what else can I use? Maybe if I add more of that with that white paint to moisten it. We'll see if that works. It just kind of coagulates on the plate. Okay. Didn't get as much of the brown through as I thought I would, so just picking up the edges where I need to. And I'm going to go down that side as well. And maybe that side. Okay, I'm not as happy with that one, but I am kind of looking to finish up, so okay. So I'm going to take this piece, which I've been using my roller on, I think. Some of that texture coming through. That's fun. That's like a lighter version of the last one. Some raw sienna, I'm thinking. No, a I like that provincial beige. Oh, no. Changing my mind over and over. I have fawn here, haven't you? Oops. Excuse me. We'll try this one. Might use this. Okay. A little bit more muddy, but I don't mind that. And this one definitely needs more work. There's way too much of that fawn colour on there for my liking. Or, yes, it was fawn. So I think I need to work on that. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do a bit of cleanup. Leave these to dry. I might... That's very fun with that secondary print. So I feel like that was one too many. I've lost a little bit of the colour, but it will be interesting to see what it's like when it dries. I may need to do a little bit more colour over the top of that one. And cleaning up the edges of my plate a little. Okay. Oh. Not sure I want to add anything to that. Well, apparently it did need something because I really like that. Love that. Okay. And I'm going to take that, see if I can, that matte photo paper really does grab hold of whatever's on the plate. Seems to be a good way to clean off your gel plate. That has a bit more colour on it now. All those texture pieces, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I will let those dry and I will pop back and show you what we've made. I may keep playing, so I'll show you anything that I make after that. And I just wanted to say, don't throw out your little pieces of scraps, because we're going to have lots of fun with those scraps that we have managed to add some new life to using our gel plate. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all soon, everybody. Please stay inspired, stay safe, and happy crafting. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.